Hello and welcome to Gaffr Tapes. I was waiting for Carl to jump in, but um, yeah,
Yeah, it was just playing on the stream,
I see.
the
Yeah,
the intro.
we are ahead of what you
Thanks
see.
again for Joel. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just watching the intro, watching my work breaks earlier this week. Hope you enjoyed the videos in the intros. So yeah, hello gaffers, and welcome to Gaffer Tapes yet again. Championship Fantasy record where we talk fixtures, stats, and Kiefer Moore. So I'm here again today with Joel at FF Joel. So yeah, I'm at Stoke Gaffer, I should say, and today we'll be doing our first team planning video of the new Gaffer season, as it's 1 week away, and we're getting very nervous, so excited as game week 1 and first deadline of the season approaches. So how are you as nervous as I am?
I wouldn't say nervous. I'm very excited though. It's gone. I think the summer's gone quite quickly, and also just the last day or so, I feel like I've really got close to where I want my team to be. It's kind of got past that initial just kind of messing around with it to now actually, okay, I've got a couple of serious drafts now. So I'm excited for the season to start. It's going to be a long old ride again because 46 game weeks is a long time, but I'm really looking forward to getting started again.
Yes, I keep saying today. Yeah, as we record, yeah, we'll be going through stats and eventually planning in terms of transfers, team lineups, and captains for the first 3 game weeks. That's what we'll be covering in this stream. So we'll start with the fixtures, and yeah, have a very useful fixture ticker. So the creators of Gaffer have come. Fixture difficulty rating is based on betting odds and gut instincts for where they think teams are at going into the new season, and I find it quite in depth. It's a good overview, let's say, of where teams are at, and difficult to really argue against a lot of these fixture assessments. So you'll tend to see that the 3 relegated clubs from the Premier League last season are all red fixtures, particularly when the lesser teams in the Championship are up against the last season's Premier League clubs. So yeah, in terms of the first 3 fixtures, so West Brom are away at Bournemouth, which is a difficult fixture in this ticker, and at home to Sheffield United, which again is a red fixture on Gaffer. So those fixtures are quite tough to call, let's say, but it's hard not to own any players from those teams because the 3 best clubs, or 3 of the best clubs in the Championship, are all the way up against one another in the first 3 game weeks. So that's a tough one to navigate. Elsewhere, so I've pointed out Cardiff as having really good fixtures. We both agreed on Cardiff's fixture run to start the season being one of the best when we first looked at the fixtures in our first video. And yeah, Fulham as well, decent fixture run, but Middlesbrough at home and Millwall away in game week 1 and game week 3 might prove to be one of their two of their trickier fixtures in their opening run of green and grey fixtures for Fulham. So they're the fixtures that stand out to me. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers where we're at with fixtures. We'll learn a lot more along the way. We'll come back knowing so much more information in game week 4 in terms of fixtures. So yeah, it's very much an open book, let's say, as we go into the new season. Just thinking back to last season, Joel, there was a few clubs that might have been seen as red fixtures, difficult fixtures, which turned out not to be. Clubs like Derby, Nottingham Forest, and Bristol City all had poor seasons last season in the whole, and didn't live up to expectation from the previous season. So I do think that might happen again with some clubs, particularly Swansea, who are in a transition phase. Barnsley have lost their manager and a few key players, so again they might fall under that same category. But yeah, it's something to think about, that we can't always take fixture difficulty at face value.
Yeah,
you need to do
just to butt in there as well,
more,
like a team like Reading as well. They were a team that no one would have called to have been a difficult fixture at the start of last season as well, so it can work the other way. Some teams may emerge as harder fixtures than we expect as well. So yeah, just wanted to mention Reading in that discussion.
Yeah, Reading, QPR as well, very strong end to last season, but might not show up as they only came 9th last season. But in many people's view will be competing in and amongst the playoffs next season. Yeah, I mean, no other team stands out as being wrong from game week 1 in terms of fixture difficulty. I agree with what Gaffr have come up with by using betting odds. So yeah, if we look at the fixture difficulties in terms of the boosts, then so I've devised a fixie for the 3 main boosts: away days and Goalfest. So for the away days fixture difficulty, I've blanked out all of the home fixtures for every club. So we're just focusing on the away fixtures, and what I've done is I've put green fixtures as year 1 to 2 Premier League parachute payment clubs. So clubs that have come down from the Premier League in the last 2 seasons. When they come up against the newly promoted clubs, plus Derby, who survived on the last day of last season and are looking really thin in terms of the playing squad going into this season, and they can't yet sign any players. So for me, I have to put Derby as being an easy fixture. But those 4 for me are the only 4 that I would say are definitively easy fixtures when there's a real mismatch in terms of quality. When the big clubs, let's say, against the real small clubs, and it's difficult to argue about those being a real mismatch and an easy fixture for bigger clubs. But those fixtures are so none of those fixtures actually occur in the first 3 game weeks. So that's something to note during this stream. For the Park the Buzz fixture difficulty, I've did this for the first 10 game weeks. So for this, a green fixture is where the three relegated clubs from the Premier League and the three best defences from last season, based on expected goals against, actual goals against. So an average of those two metrics. So I calculated that the 6 best defences, judging by last season, in terms of the big budgets, big Premier League quality defences from Fulham, Sheffield United, West Brom.
Kyle, sorry to butt in again.
Along with
someone is saying in the chat that your mic is echoing. I'm just wondering. I'm not sure why that is, but is that something you could just look at? Have you got maybe 2 things open at once, or?
I've turned my volume down. I don't know if and brought a mic. Hasn't in time for this stream, but I will have a mic for the next stream. So the 3 clubs beneath the Premier League clubs from last season, with the best defences that I found were Swansea, Bournemouth, and Stoke. And for me, green fixtures when they defensive come up against the. So I actually haven't put Hull and Peterborough as 2 of the 6 worst in this. I've included Blackpool, who 14th in League One for goals scored, and there's no XG in. But I pointed Blackpool out as as the worst attack going into the Championship season, along with the 5 other clubs from the Championship with an average expected goals for and actual goals scored average of below 50 from season. So these are Derby, Bristol City, and Forest, Huddersfield, and those make up the green fixtures for the top 6 against the bottom 6. I'm thinking of playing my the Buzz in game week 2 when 2 of these green fixtures occur, but I picked out, from doing this research, game week 4 is on paper the best for Part of the Buzz, because Bournemouth face Blackpool, Sheffield United are at home to Huddersfield, and Swansea are away at Bristol City. So in terms of the best attacking fixtures, so this is a fixture difficulty chart for Goalfest. So this should help picking the best game week to play Goalfest, which obviously, if you don't know, points board. Sorry about the dogs. And so this is very much just the reverse of the Part of the Buzz. So it's the 6 best attacks against the 6 worst defences that I predict based on last season's data. So yeah, I found that the XG and goals average was the most accurate at predicting the best teams for scoring goals. And these 6 clubs were, again, the 3 relegated clubs, plus Bournemouth, Blackburn, which might be a surprise, and Cardiff, which again might be a surprise to some. And Reading weren't too far behind in 7th. The worst defences, I categorised the 3 relegated clubs, the 3 promoted clubs, plus Bristol City, Huddersfield and Coventry as having the worst expected goals against and goals against average. And on paper, the best game week to play Goalfest is in game week 5 when Bournemouth face Hull away, Cardiff and West Brom are away at Peterborough. But there's 3 green fixtures in that game week, and I can only see 2 in any of the others. But I will add to this fixture difficulty chart once I know more information on clubs